There are many drivers to the three planetary crises: the crisis of climate change, the crisis of nature loss, and the crisis of pollution. But the key common driver is how we produce and consume and waste our natural resources. Resource extraction and processing account for over half of our greenhouse gas emissions. They account for around 1/3 of the impact of human health, and they account for the lion's share of biodiversity loss and water stress. Even so, we continue to use ever more natural resources. Meanwhile, the efficiency with which we use resources remains essentially unchanged. The end result is predictable. According to the International Resource Panel, at a gross domestic product growth rate of 2.2% by 2060, we will require a 110% increase in global resource extraction. That is, if we stick to the current economic models. So it's obvious that we must change, because we cannot stick to the current economic models. Not if we want to cool the earth, not if we want to preserve nature, not if we want to end pollution and waste, and not if we want to reach the Sustainable Development Goals and our aspiration and agreement to end poverty and hunger. Yes, we have seen action to improve resource efficiency in specific industries and areas, and we salute that. But that has not translated into widespread adoption. Now, part of the problem is that science doesn't always reach decision makers in a way that is relevant and actionable. That is why the value chain approach to action on sustainable consumption and production proposed by the One Planet Network IRP task group is so important. The value chain approach is a methodology for catalyzing science-based policy actions on sustainable consumption and production. This approach does so in 4 ways. Allow me to go over these. First, it integrates the natural and social sciences to map resource use and environmental impacts along the value chains and understand the systems within which resource use takes place. Second, it applies systems analysis to identify drivers of behavior and barriers to change and find key points of intervention. And third, it consolidates existing action and collaboration to create a common agenda. And fourth, it ensures it is practical and actionable by zooming in on specific resource uses along the value chain. The methodology has already been applied and delivered insights. We learned, for example, that the majority of natural resource use and environmental impact in food systems take place at the primary production stage. However, primary producers have a limited ability to shape food systems, so food companies, retail, and food services become critical to making those transformational changes that we want to see. So this approach heralds a new phase of science policy collaboration between the IRP and the One Planet Network. For the IRP, a value chain approach can help to focus research priorities, respond to knowledge needs of practitioners, and identify key data gaps. For the One Planet Network, the approach can provide a strengthened relevance and renewed mandate beyond 2022. UNEP will certainly look at this approach in our new medium-term strategy. I'm grateful to the members of the One Planet Network and the International Resource Panel Task Group for creating this methodology. A special thanks as well to the Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development of Argentina, the Ministry of Environment of Finland, the Ministry of Infrastructure and Water Management of the Netherlands, the Department of Environmental Affairs of South Africa, and the European Commission. We are at the beginning of the decade in which humanity must act quickly and decisively on the 3 planetary crises. We cannot solve these crises without a global shift to sustainable consumption and production. The value chain approach will be a valuable tool to make this shift happen.